Shortly after 6 a.m., Trump's alarm sounds, breaking the silence of his tranquil morning. He rises from slumber, dressed in a simple white robe that speaks to informal comfort amidst a life that often demands the polished veneer of power. Stepping onto the balcony, the dawn light bathes him in gentle hues, and he feels a quiet determination mirroring the routine he has forged over many mornings. Below, the city slowly awakens, a sprawling landscape that has witnessed both triumphant moments and tumultuous controversies. With brief, thoughtful glances toward the cityscape in the distant horizon, he begins his day with a moment of reflection, an opportunity to recalibrate his thoughts. In this stillness, his mind wanders away from the burdens of political decisions and the often unforgiving tides of public opinion, instead focusing on the practical matters defining his day ahead, conjuring a mental map of personal goals, strategic meetings, and minor details shaping his meticulously orchestrated schedule. The morning air carries freshness, inviting clarity as he zeroes in on the nuances of his daily challenges and aspirations. Elements that, while small in comparison to his public persona, hold significant value in his journey and contribute to the overarching narrative of his life as a public figure, intertwined with the latest developments in national and global affairs. After his reflective balcony moment, he proceeds to his private study. This room is adorned with portraits and mementos illustrating years of a public life, intertwined with quiet personal rituals, showcasing key milestones in his career. He sits at his desk to review several pages of printed memos, personal notes, and updates from his advisors. These documents include not only political items, but also daily schedules, suggestions for personal improvement, and reminders of upcoming appointments with friends, business partners, and family, highlighting the interconnectedness of his public responsibilities and private life. As he flips through the pages, he pauses at a handwritten note tucked between the memos. It's a simple yet profound reminder from his daughter, cheerfully inscribed, "Don't forget our dinner on Saturday." This innocuous message brings warmth to his heart, offering a welcome reprieve from the sterile environment of political obligations that often feel suffocating. The words transport him back to afternoons spent preparing favorite recipes in the family kitchen, where laughter echoed off the walls and rich aromas of home-cooked meals filled the air. A smile spreads across his face as he reflects on the joyous moments punctuating the relentless rhythm of his career, moments that reveal the human side behind the political figure. This small snippet of life not only serves as a reminder, but also as an anchor amidst the stormy seas of his political journey, grounding him in love and familial bonds amidst the chaos of state affairs. In that fleeting moment, he realizes how such heartfelt notes act as lifelines, reminding him of what truly matters when the weight of the world feels too heavy to bear, echoing the sentiments of many who grapple with similar pressures in their daily lives. Setting aside the heavier documents for a moment, he clears away distractions and focuses solely on the personal notes. Each one tells a story, a cherished connection that pulls him away from the drudgery of state affairs. There's a sketch from an artist friend, a lighthearted caricature of him during a particularly heated debate in the chamber, and a letter from a former colleague, full of encouragement and well wishes as he approaches a challenging period ahead. He continues scanning the memos, noting the upcoming meetings not just as transactions of duty, but as opportunities to engage with influential figures who can impact his vision for the future. Yet the most pressing items on his mind remain those concerning his blossoming relationship with his family. There's more to life than political victories. It's the laughter during family dinners and the stories shared around the dining table that truly nourish him. Each event is a thread in the fabric of their lives, and he is determined to weave in his presence even amidst the chaos of his responsibilities. But amidst these familial joys, there are challenges as well. His wife's recent concerns about their youngest child struggling in school weigh heavily on him. It strikes a chord within him. He remembers his own struggles as a child, that feeling of being misunderstood. He resolves to engage more deeply with his children's lives, to not only bolster their academic pursuits, but also ensure they know they are supported unconditionally. In his mind, he pulls together the threads of both ambition and love, realizing that his drive for success does not have to overshadow his family life, but can enhance it instead. As he finalizes his notes for the day, he prizes not just the meetings ahead, but also the moments that will shape his family's future. He resolves that these personal milestones should not only be celebrated, but prioritized. His heart swells with hope as he imagines what their future could look like if he truly committed to being present. He knows that with every decision he makes, aligning his goals with his family's well-being, he moves closer to his ultimate vision, a balance of ambition and connection that thrives on mutual support and love. With a renewed sense of purpose, he decides to transform his approach to the upcoming week. He orders his advisor to prioritize his family engagements alongside his political commitments. The balance of his life, once skewed heavily toward work, begins to realign as he makes a mental note to personally prepare for the Saturday dinner, ensuring he brings not just his presence, but also his heart to the table. As the days progress, he finds himself reflecting on what truly matters in life, a realization that has eluded him for far too long. Each morning, he wakes earlier than usual to enjoy a quiet cup of coffee on the back porch, watching the sunrise bathe the garden in golden light. This brief moment of solitude becomes his sanctuary, a time to gather his thoughts and set intentions that extend beyond political ambitions, both for his family and his public image. With each sip, he contemplates stories from his childhood, the laughter shared during family gatherings, and the warmth of love that enveloped him during those simpler times. Inspired by these memories and the wisdom of his experiences, he begins to sketch out a few family activities for the weekend: an outing to the local park, a movie night featuring their favorite films, and perhaps a game night that would ignite friendly competition and laughter once more. Again, recognizing the importance of family connections in his busy life. On Friday, he carefully arranges the dining area, opting for a warm, inviting ambiance with soft candlelight and his grandmother's handmade tablecloth. He inventories the ingredients for his grandmother's famous lasagna, determined to recreate the dish that had once brought his family together on countless occasions. Cooking becomes not just a task, but an emotional journey as he channels the love and traditions passed down through those generations, reflecting on the interconnectedness of family and food. By Saturday evening, the house buzzes with excitement. As guests arrive, he stands at the door, greeting each family member with genuine enthusiasm. The air fills with the aromas of his labor, mingling with laughter and stories that weave through the home, binding them together in shared experiences. As twilight sets in, the room's atmosphere shifts, bathed in the golden hues of the setting sun. He stands up, stretching slightly, and gazes at a portrait of his late father hanging on the wall, contemplating the wisdom instilled in him throughout his life. The elder's wise eyes seem to penetrate through the years, reminding him of the values he instilled: integrity, family, and resilience, as well as the lessons learned through both triumphs and failures. It is this foundation that he must honor, not just for his father's memory, but for the legacy he wishes to create for his children and the nation. Resolute, he steps back onto the balcony for a moment, inhaling the fresh evening air, feeling grateful for the life he has lived so far. Contemplating the horizon, he knows that while public service demands much, it is the joy of private life that will continue to fuel his passion and purpose. With that thought, he heads back inside, ready to tackle the agendas ahead without losing sight of what truly matters. As he closes the sliding door behind him, the soft click resonates like a reminder of the journey that has shaped his character. The warm glow of the living room lights welcomes him, but he can't shake the weight of unfulfilled ambitions lurking in the shadows. He steps over to a large oak desk cluttered with papers, each one a testament to the hopes and challenges that define his public life. One particular letter catches his eye: a handwritten note from a young girl whose community project he had supported months ago. Her words, filled with excitement and gratitude for the impact his help had made, stir something deep within him. It reminds him of the ripple effects that small acts of kindness can generate. This fuels his motivation as he considers the next steps he needs to take for his upcoming initiatives. He takes a seat, pulls open a drawer, and retrieves a well-worn journal filled with thoughts and plans from years past. Flipping through the pages, he smiles at the dreams he once wrote down: to foster sustainable development in struggling neighborhoods, to create mentorship programs for youth, and to advocate for mental health awareness. Each goal circles back to the essence of his work: making a difference in people's lives and nurturing the spirit of community. Taking a deep breath, he jots down new ideas that have sprouted in his mind during moments of clarity, each one designed to bridge the gap between public service and personal fulfillment. He imagines workshops where he can share not just his experiences, but the wisdom gleaned from both triumphs and heartbreaks. Perhaps he could even host community gatherings to inspire others to take charge of their narratives, to write their own stories of resilience. As the night deepens, he reflects on the balance needed in life. Public service, while noble, often demands sacrifices in personal relationships and self-care. He vows to invite his old friends over for dinner more often, to reconnect with the people who ground him in reality and remind him of simpler joys. Games, laughter, and heartfelt conversations should not be relegated to the past. They are vital to the future he envisions. With resolve, he closes the journal, feeling a renewed energy coursing through him. The agendas awaiting him no longer seem daunting, but rather like new chapters in a grand story he is eager to tell. Armed with joy from his private life and purpose from his work, he sees the path ahead illuminated with possibilities. Tomorrow he will step forward not just as a public servant, but as a beacon for hope and passion, ready to engage with all that life has to offer. As the morning unfolds, Trump takes a brief step into physical activity. He heads to a private gym located within the residence. The exercise is straightforward: treadmill sessions, weightlifting sets, and some stretching exercises, which collectively aim to improve not only his physical fitness, but also mental agility. The routines are measured and deliberate, reflecting a commitment to self-care that is often overlooked by the public eye. The session lasts about 30 minutes, and while physical fitness is not often publicly detailed, his careful regimen is evident. This period of exercise is observed quietly, fostering a mindset of focus and energy before the day fully begins, setting a tone of vitality that he aims to carry throughout his busy schedule. Returning from the gym, Trump moves on to his breakfast routine. In the spacious dining area, he enjoys a meal prepared by his trusted culinary staff. The breakfast is simple: eggs, toast, and a cup of black coffee, served with minimal garnish. It is a moment of solitude that reflects the straightforward style of his personal habits. Nothing in the breakfast positioning suggests grandeur, just a daily practice of nourishment to meet the demands of a long day. Sitting at the table facing a large window, he reads the morning newspaper along with a tablet device loaded with curated news feeds. The focus is primarily on business news, local weather updates, and a few lifestyle segments. Even though he is in the highest office of the nation, the interest here lies less in the ideological debates swirling in other circles and more in the day-to-day happenings that set the tone for his environment. The calm flow of reading and contemplation marks his final moments before transitioning into a more active part of his day. At approximately 8 a.m., the day continues with a series of scheduled personal appointments. Trump's office assistant has organized a series of low-key meetings that revolve around non-political items, ranging from discussions with his personal financial advisors to planning upcoming interviews with media outlets focused on lifestyle and business. His personal habits, noted in the ledger of his daily routine, are shown clearly as he manages time with precision. Today, each appointment serves as a reminder that even under the massive pressure of political leadership, scheduling a quiet meeting can provide a necessary break from the continuous demands of public service, allowing for moments to reconnect with aspects of life beyond politics and remind him of the person he is beyond his political identity. As the morning progresses, Trump's assistant also ensures that there are breaks in between the meetings, allowing him to recharge effectively. With a strong focus on personal well-being, he makes it a point to take short walks in the sunlit garden outside his office. These moments of tranquility not only serve as a buffer against the weight of his responsibilities, but also grant him clarity as he prepares for the tasks ahead. The tranquility of the garden, with its carefully tended flowers and vibrant greenery, is juxtaposed with the bustling energy of the city beyond the estate's walls, serving as a calming reminder of the world that waits outside, yet contrasts sharply with the intensity of his daily life. During one of these breaks, he checks his phone, scrolling through messages from family and friends, a grounding gesture amidst the whirlwind of his public life. Each text brings a flash of his life away from the cameras, a conversation with his children about their recent successes, a lighthearted exchange with an old friend about their shared interests, and a reminder from his spouse about an upcoming family event. These connections, the heartbeat of his personal life, contrast sharply with the often solitary nature of his decisions as a public figure, serving as timely reminders of the relationships that enrich his experiences. As each appointment concludes, he speaks candidly, sharing anecdotes and personal reflections that reveal his character beyond the public persona. The meetings foster a casual discourse where ideas flourish, and his voice carries notes of humor and insight. Laughter punctuates the business talk, enriching the atmosphere and reinforcing camaraderie among his close associates. It is within this realm that he seems most at ease, flourishing in a space where strategic planning intertwines with personal ambition. But for now, the quieter pleasures of the day hold his focus, an intermittent escape that allows him to breathe, think, and recalibrate before transitioning back into the bustling world of public scrutiny. One of the first events on the agenda is a consultation with his personal security team. In a small, secure room, discussions focus on routine security measures around his residences and travel. The conversation, carried out with calm professionalism and direct language, is entirely focused on the practicalities of safety. There is no theatrics, only the clear acknowledgement that security is paramount in his private life. The meeting lasts no longer than 15 minutes, and he acknowledges the information with a nod before moving on. Following the security meeting, Trump makes his way to his private office where a personal aide provides a briefing on the day's non-political agenda. The assistance involves brief updates about personal errands, informal coffee meeting arrangements, and general household management topics that rarely appear in public bulletins. The conversation is neutral and matter-of-fact, underscoring that even a figure of his stature manages mundane issues with a methodical plan. A mid-morning phone call is scheduled with one of his old business associates. Over the phone, they catch up on developments in the business sector, a topic that is familiar to Trump from his pre-presidential days. The dialogue is relaxed and conversational, focusing on entrepreneurial endeavors or quieter, lesser-known investment opportunities. This call is a personal reminder of his roots in business and is characterized by a straightforward exchange of ideas and anecdotes, free of political context. After this call, Trump spends a few minutes reviewing his schedule on a digital device. While he does have a team of advisors handling larger political decisions, it is apparent in these rituals that personal decisions, such as his daily schedule, are managed with precision. He approves several minor adjustments to his itinerary and confirms upcoming meetings. His attention to detail is reflected in every nuance of the process. Around noon, Trump takes a short walk in a private garden on the grounds of one of his residences, where he has a bit of time to breathe in some fresh air. The garden is landscaped simply yet elegantly, with neat paths lined with trimmed trees and blooming flowers. Trump enjoys these brief moments where the hustle of public life recedes and nature offers a quiet counterpoint to the relentless pace of his career. The walk is unhurried, and he uses the time to contemplate the day's remaining schedule. As he strolls along the winding path, Trump observes the vibrant colors of the flowers and the delicate movements of butterflies flitting from bloom to bloom. The peaceful ambiance allows his mind to drift towards upcoming meetings and discussions, but for this moment, nature takes precedence. He pauses to take a deep breath, his thoughts momentarily clearing as he considers the importance of finding balance amidst the chaos of his responsibilities. Looking up, he notices a pair of birds building a nest in a nearby tree, a reminder to him of resilience and dedication, inspirations he often draws upon during challenging times. With a small smile, he thinks about his own journey, the obstacles overcome, and the goals he still aims to achieve. Each step he takes seems to echo with the lessons learned from both triumphs and setbacks, reinforcing his resolve to face the future head-on. As his walk comes to an end, he feels rejuvenated, ready to tackle a series of important calls and strategy sessions that await him inside. The silence of the garden lingers in his mind, a brief sanctuary that he hopes to revisit whenever he needs to recharge. Entering back into the house, the atmosphere shifts instantaneously. From the tranquil garden oasis to the bustling energy of aides and advisors moving swiftly through the halls. He steels himself for the transition, drawing strength from the peace he just experienced. Settling into his office, he sips on a strong cup of coffee, energizing him for the tasks ahead. The aroma fills the room, grounding him in the present while also sparking memories of late-night brainstorming sessions, often spent with team members, flipping through charts and reports, discussing strategies that could shape the country's narrative. Today, he knows, will be no different, filled with crucial conversations that hold the weight of future decisions. With his staff entering one by one, he directs his thoughts outward, leading discussions about the economy, policy priorities, and upcoming engagements. Each voice adds to the collective vision, and despite the chaos, a palpable sense of purpose surrounds the team. With renewed vigor and a hint of the tranquil garden still echoing in his heart, Trump embraces the relentless pace of his day, ready to make his mark once more. The walk is followed by a light lunch in the dining hall. Lunch is typically informal, a salad, a sandwich, or occasionally a bowl of soup. Today, he opts for a turkey sandwich with a side of fruit. The meal is designed to be healthy and straightforward. It is eaten at a large table set in a quiet area where he is seldom interrupted. Even during lunch, his team ensures that his meal is served timely, yet no grand ceremony accompanies the event. It is simply a moment of calm nourishment amid a day that is otherwise filled with numerous small tasks. The dialogue is pragmatic, with the advisor presenting spreadsheets, lists of tasks, and updates on routine projects like home renovations or the scheduling of personal appearances. Shortly after the appointment, a mid-afternoon break is observed. Trump takes a few minutes to enjoy a cup of tea in a quiet room situated off the primary office. The tea room is adorned with soft lighting, modest decorations, and comfortable furniture. It is a space designed specifically for reflection and repose, separate from the energetic demands of the Oval Office. While the political world may see his day as an endless string of challenges and decision-making, moments like these highlight the personal nature of presidential life: simple, methodical, and introspective. The afternoon continues with a series of routine tasks that blend administrative duties with a look to future engagements. A digital assistant displays a complete rundown of the day's completed tasks and pending items. The tasks range from confirming travel schedules to reviewing invitations for private dining events. Each item is checked off one by one, an exercise in organization that reassures him of his continued efficiency. In these moments, the president is not engaged in debates or policies, but in the arithmetic of everyday life where every minute is accounted for. Later in the afternoon, Trump makes a scheduled visit to one of the presidential kitchens where a small group of chefs are experimenting with new menu ideas. The visit is brief, a matter of courtesy and interest rather than an in-depth culinary review. He asks a few straightforward questions about ingredients and preparation techniques. The chefs respond in kind, providing explanations that rest on simple language and mutual respect. This interaction underscores another layer of his personal life, an appreciation for the craft of everyday work, be it in politics or cooking. The day's progression is marked by a scheduled period of solitary work in his private library. Here, among rows of books and mementos from his career, he spends a portion of the afternoon reviewing his collection of personal writings, notes, and historical records. The library, quiet and orderly, represents a safe space where complex issues are distilled into manageable notes and plans. Although many eyes turn to him as a political figure, his personal writings are simple, direct observations of ongoing habits and personal reflections that have little to do with public opinion or political debate. As the afternoon shifts towards evening, another low-key meeting awaits, a short session with a trusted member of his household staff. The discussion centers on minor changes needed for his next day's schedule, adjustments caused by weather, traffic updates on his planned commute, and issues related to staff logistics. It is a conversation that bears all the hallmarks of routine communication, the exchange of factual information without ornamentation. This meeting is as routine as any other work appointment, an everyday occurrence in the life of a president who balances monumental decisions with the administrative details of domestic life. As they wrap up their discussion, a gentle knock resonates through the door, signaling the arrival of his press secretary. Today's briefing is set to address the press regarding both triumphs and challenges in recent legislative measures. He nods in acknowledgement, knowing that even these briefings are layers in the delicate fabric of governance, each word measured, each sentence crafted to convey strength while hinting at vulnerability when necessary. The press secretary enters, carrying a folder stuffed with updates, community feedback, and questions that have been simmering in the backdrop of public discourse. We've received mixed reactions to the budget proposal, she notes, laying out the contents with precision. He leans forward, absorbing the information, acutely aware that every decision ripples beyond the Oval Office, touching lives in ways both profound and mundane. The tone shifts slightly as they discuss the upcoming town hall meeting, a platform not just for policy updates, but for establishing a bridge between himself and the citizens he serves. It's essential we highlight stories of hope and resilience, he reminds her. People need to feel connected, not just informed. This sentiment resonates deeply with him, embodying a belief that leadership must also cultivate empathy and understanding. After the briefing, as twilight dips into indigo, a sense of stillness envelops the White House. He takes a moment on the balcony, looking out at the manicured gardens, where shadows dance under the soft glow of lamps. It's a scene that speaks of continuity, a stark reminder of the legacy he is building. He reflects on the challenges ahead: international pressures, socioeconomic shifts, and the ever-evolving expectations of his constituents. Taking a deep breath, he prepares himself for the evening's dinner with advisors, where discussions will flow beyond the confines of policy into the realms of innovation and future visions. Each person seated around the table plays a crucial role, their insights framing strategies that could steer not just his administration, but the nation itself towards a more inclusive and hopeful future. As the gathering draws nearer, he feels the weight of responsibility alongside a flicker of excitement. The world might be watching, but in this moment, it's the small things: the laughter, the shared ideas, the camaraderie that will fortify their resolve against the tides of uncertainty that lay ahead. After all, amidst the grand narratives of power and governance, it is these intimate exchanges that often spark transformative change. As he walks through the crowded venue, the vibrant hum of conversations wraps around him like a warm blanket. Each face tells a story. Each gesture echoes a shared dream. He knows that this gathering is more than just a confluence of minds. It's a crucible where ideas will be forged and alliances strengthened. In the corners of the room, newcomers exchange hesitant smiles with seasoned advocates, while facilitators prepare to lead discussions that will delve into the heart of pressing issues. He pauses at a table where a young woman passionately discusses renewable energy solutions with a small group. Her hands move animatedly as she outlines her vision for a sustainable future. Her enthusiasm contagious. He feels a surge of hope. Within these walls, the future is being envisioned and crafted. He joins their conversation, sharing insights and gathering perspectives, recognizing that every voice matters in this symphony of change. As the hours unfold, sessions come and go, interweaving strands of thought that will eventually culminate in a collaborative action plan. They tackle everything from climate change to social justice, each topic igniting sparks of passion in the attendees. Breakout discussions abound, and in those small clusters of humanity, barriers dissolve, leaving room for creativity and innovation to flourish. He notices that even amidst heavy topics, laughter punctuates the air, bringing a balance to the seriousness that defines their mission. Stories of triumph and resilience are shared, creating bonds that transcend differences. It is this camaraderie, he realizes, that can endure and thrive, providing them with the strength to face the challenges ahead. Later, as they gather for the closing remarks, he feels a sense of unity that transcends the individual contributions. Each participant, whether they spoke eloquently or quietly contributed, is acknowledged for their unique role in the larger tapestry. The echo of collective purpose reverberates through the room, igniting a shared commitment to take the lessons learned back to their communities, to ripple out change far and wide. With renewed determination, he exits the venue, the night air cool against his skin. The shadows of uncertainty still loom on the horizon, but now they seem less daunting. He has witnessed the power of collaboration, the potential of shared visions, and he carries with him the belief that together they can navigate the complexities of the world ahead. Each conversation, each connection formed today is a seed planted for a better tomorrow, and he is ready to nurture them into reality. After these administrative duties, the president decides to spend some personal time reading in a quiet room designated exclusively for leisure. The reading material for the day is varied, a mix of fiction, memoirs, and even a few collections of poetry, each chosen to expand his understanding or provide a brief escape from the pressures of public life. The selection is personal and uncomplicated, meant solely for relaxation and personal enrichment, allowing him a moment of connection with the broader human experience through literature. The quiet reading session lasts until dusk, and the simplicity of the activity is a marked contrast to the more publicly engaging hours of the morning and afternoon, highlighting the importance of balance between duty and personal growth. Evening approaches steadily, and with it, the routine shift to dinner preparations. Dinner is served in a formal dining room that has been the backdrop of many personal gatherings. This particular evening is private. Only a few close friends and family members are present. The dinner menu is simple yet carefully selected: a lean cut of meat, a side of vegetables, and a serving of a simple dessert. There is no elaborate ceremonial presentation, only a meal prepared with care and served with calm efficiency. The topics are diverse: old anecdotes, gentle humor, and occasional reflections on shared experiences that have little to do with the heavy responsibilities of political life. After the meal, the group disperses gradually. Many of the guests depart while Trump remains, choosing to conclude his day in quiet solitude. With a final cup of a mild drink, water with lemon, the evening winds down to a reflective close. He retreats once more to the private study to write a few personal notes in his journal. The writing is done in a penmanship simple and direct, a small ritual offloading the minor details of the day so that the coming morning might begin afresh. His journal entries are a private record of the ordinary occurrences that cumulatively shape his unique experience as president. In the late hours of the evening, sometime after 9 p.m., he takes a brief walk along a corridor in the quiet wings of his residence. The hallways, decorated with historical portraits and soft lighting, create a reflective ambience. This final walk is solitary and measured, a time to consider the day's events and to prepare mentally for tomorrow's routine. The walk is punctuated by the soft hum of the building's air system and the quiet rustle of secretaries finalizing work in distant rooms. It feels like a private interlude in a life lived openly yet circumscribed by personal rituals. Once back in his private quarters, Trump changes into a comfortable set of attire that is markedly different from the crisp suits seen throughout the earlier parts of the day. The transformation into relaxed clothing symbolizes the closing of a chapter of the day, a transition from the public to the personal. He spends a few final moments reflecting silently by the window before quieting his thoughts under the dim light of the bedside lamp. As the clock nears midnight, Trump reviews his journal one final time. The notes today do not include grand declarations or emotional exclamations. They are humble reflections on the steady cadence of a day filled with routine tasks and personal meetings. Each entry is an affirmation of a life lived with measured steps, small yet significant actions that sustain the larger burden of responsibility. In this simple act of recording the day's minutiae, the president finds a semblance of order, a certainty that the next day will follow a similar, carefully directed path. Through the long, carefully measured day, it becomes clear that despite the constant public attention, the meticulous personal routines of Donald Trump have their own quiet dignity. Each day in May is a tapestry of ordinary events, a mix of physical exercise, simple meals, readjustments of schedule, brief interactions with close associates, and moments of solitude that bring clarity before the dawn of another day. This detailed look into his daily habits reveals that, regardless of the role he plays on the world stage, his personal life contains threads of routine that echo the common experiences of many. In this way, the narrative has journeyed from the early hours of a May morning to a reflective conclusion at midnight, capturing the essence of daily living in a world where the extraordinary and the ordinary continuously intersect. Observed through an impartial lens and recounted in a neutral, straightforward manner, this story stands as a testament to the importance of routine. It demonstrates that despite holding the highest office in the land, the moments defining personal life remain profoundly human, simple, deliberate, and deeply satisfying in their continuity. The narrative of this single day during his presidency is meticulous, with every moment observed and noted, a reminder that the personal realm, far removed from the flashpoints of political discourse, carries its own form of significance. Even as debates wage and headlines form around policy and international matters, there remains a necessary cadence to everyday life, one that is maintained through small, deliberate routines. The day unfolds like a simple film montage where actions are interconnected in a way that is both ordinary and deeply human. In the early hours of the next day, before the public is even aware of another sunrise, the same routine is expected to resume. The quiet determination seen in the morning reflections, the precision in physical exercises, the moderate meals enjoyed without pretension, and the calm interactions with advisors and loved ones, all these fragments combine to form the mosaic of everyday presidential life. Each day carries forward the legacy of simple routines that persist, despite the monumental scale of decisions being made elsewhere in the government. The story of this day, encapsulated in its routine from morning to night, offers a window into the private habits of a well-known figure. It shows that behind the glare of political spectacle lies an individual who, like many, finds solace in habits and rituals that offer structure and meaning. The simplicity of the routine, waking early, exercising, enjoying quiet meals, holding brief yet essential meetings, and retiring with a reflective journal session, paints a picture of a life that, while under extraordinary circumstances, is shaped by familiar patterns and small victories of daily self-care. With every stroke of the pen, ideas flowed, a blend of personal musings and thoughts on pressing national matters that wove together to create a tapestry of purpose. After the journal session, the figure often takes a moment to step outside, breathing in the crisp evening air while observing the quiet rhythm of life around them. This brief interlude serves as a reminder of the broader world, one that exists beyond the confines of meetings and strategic planning, allowing for a moment of contemplation amid the busyness of a public role. Neighbors might be seen tending to their gardens, children playing in the streets, laughter mingling with the sound of crickets, all grounding this prominent individual in the communal fabric of everyday life, reminding him of the normalcy that life outside of politics embodies. As night enveloped the day, the routine shifted again, leaning toward a more contemplative phase. Dinner was often a simple affair, perhaps a meal shared with close family or friends. It was during these meal times that the figure would lean into genuine conversations, venturing beyond the demands of their role to share stories, jokes, and insights about the human experience. As laughter echoed through the dining room, the weight of responsibility seemed to lift, if only for a moment, allowing for a refreshing glimpse of normalcy amidst the whirlwind of public life. Once the dishes were cleared away, the evening might culminate in a quiet ritual of reading. This was a time reserved for absorbing literature, often biographies, philosophy, or historical accounts that fed the mind and soul. Such readings didn't just serve as entertainment, but fostered a deeper understanding of the world and the complexities of human nature. They became a source of inspiration, enriching the figure's perspective and equipping them with new insights to carry into the following day. Eventually, surrendering to the day's end, the figure would retreat to their private space, reflecting on the lessons learned and the challenges faced. There was a comforting consistency in the act of preparation for sleep, an array of soothing teas, a brief session of meditation, and the all-important moments of gratitude. These small but mighty practices fortified the spirit, ensuring that when morning came, they would rise renewed, ready to face the world once more. This daily narrative, rich in routine and punctuated by both trivial and monumental moments, helped to illuminate the essence of the figure beyond their public persona. It revealed a steadfast commitment to mindfulness, resilience, and the quiet power of rituals in a life devoted to service. The duality of their existence, a blend of the remarkable and the mundane, spoke volumes about the intricate balance required to navigate the responsibilities bestowed upon them by both history and the present. This narrative in May stands as an observation of personal continuity amidst the disruptions often brought by a public role. The chronological unfolding of each hour, from the first light of dawn to the quiet moments before sleep, integrates the private with the public, illustrating how personal integrity and dedication can coexist with the demands of leadership. For Trump, the day is lived deliberately, marked by the repetition of habits that are both minor and profoundly sustaining. In the subtle rituals of his routine, like the targeted prioritization of personal relationships and commitments, one can trace the outlines of a presidency that is as much about personal endurance and attention to detail as it is about grand political maneuverings. Throughout this lengthy day, the narrative has maintained a simple and neutral tone, steering clear of political decisions and controversies that normally dominate public discourse. The focus has remained on the minutiae of daily living, adhering to a straightforward description of actions and habits that comprise a typical day. In this manner, the story invites a reflection on the universal nature of routine, revealing that regardless of one's status or public image, every day is composed of familiar tasks and subtle moments of self-reflection. As the night deepens and the world outside grows quiet, Trump's day settles into a conventional end. The routine has been sustained with discipline, a quiet defiance against the chaos that sometimes engulfs the public sphere. It is a reminder that the structure of daily life is not only vital for managing large responsibilities, but also essential for maintaining a sense of normalcy in a world where expectations are high and challenges are relentless. Looking back on this day, an objective observer might note that the presidential life is marked by contrasts. There is the public spectacle of state affairs, and then there is the undramatic yet vital progression of ordinary life, a balance that ensures continuity regardless of the weight of global opinion. The simple routines of this day serve as a microcosm of a disciplined mind striving to hold together the various components of leadership and personal well-being. In the hours when darkness has settled and the pages of the journal stand as testament to the day's measured activities, one finds that the president's life, at least in these moments of mundane routine, aligns closely with that of any other individual who places value on daily stability. The unadorned dialogue with personal assistants, the succinct interactions with trusted advisors, and even the brief exercise sessions are all elements that resonate simply as acts of human routine. They are reminders that while the world watches with bated breath during the brighter moments of political drama, there is another narrative unfolding in quiet corridors and modest dining rooms. In conclusion, the story of this single day, as observed during a month in Trump's presidency, emphasizes that even the life of a public figure is punctuated by the ordinary habits that form the backbone of daily existence. It is a narrative that unfolds naturally, from sunrise when the reflections on the balcony set a contemplative tone, to the measured steps taken in private corridors as the day draws to a close. There is beauty in the simplicity of routine, a kind of understated honesty that sits outside the controversies of the public mind. Each moment is small, a quiet brushstroke in the overall portrait of a president whose personal life is as governed by habit as it is by the demands of high office. This narrative, with its plain language and linear chronology, provides insight into the nuanced balance required by anyone in a high-level leadership position. It shows that beneath the public announcements and press conferences, there exists a realm where the simple acts of waking early, exercising, enjoying a well-prepared meal, and reflecting quietly at day's end become minutes of solace and discipline, fostering resilience in a high-stakes environment. In these moments, the persona of a political figure fades into that of an individual who is, at core, human, bound by the ordinary rhythms of life, mindful of the need for stability, and content to meet each day with carefully mapped routines, which ultimately serve as a foundation for his public responsibilities. As the night finally recedes into the promise of another day, the cycle of routine stands ready to begin anew. The events of today are neither amplified by controversy nor diminished by the glare of public expectations. They simply exist as a part of a long tradition of daily life. In the measured details of his daily routine, Donald Trump, like countless others, embraces the rhythms of life with an unadorned and straightforward approach. And so, in this story marked by objective observations and neutral tones, the everyday life of a president is rendered not as a spectacle of politics, but as an honest testament to the enduring practice of routine in our shared human experience. This narrative, with its plain language and linear chronology, provides insight into the nuanced balance required by anyone in a high-level leadership position. It shows that beneath the public announcements and press conferences, there exists a realm where the simple acts of waking early, exercising, enjoying a well-prepared meal, and reflecting quietly at day's end become minutes of solace and discipline. In these moments, the persona of a political figure fades into that of an individual who is, at core, human, bound by the ordinary rhythms of life, mindful of the need for stability, and content to meet each day with carefully mapped routines. Thus, the day in question in May remains not as merely a page in a political diary, but as an emblem of the continuity of personal life. The quiet yet resolute habits displayed are the same across the spectrum of human existence. The steady progress from morning to evening, each minute measured, each task simply performed, creates an enduring portrait of life lived in the clear light of routine. And as the day comes to a close, the reflections contained within its simple details echo the universal truth that even in times of extraordinary public expectation, the enduring nature of everyday habits endows a person with the strength needed to face another day. In this way, the narrative has journeyed from the early hours of a May morning to a reflective conclusion at midnight, capturing the essence of daily living in a world where the extraordinary and the ordinary continuously intersect. The story, observed through an impartial lens and recounted in a neutral, straightforward manner, stands as a testament to the importance of routine. It shows that despite holding the highest office in the land, the moments that define personal life remain profoundly human, simple, deliberate, and deeply satisfying in their continuity.